Welcome to the third and final video in our series giving an overview of Microsoft Project's baseline component. In the previous videos, we gave a description of how to use the native functionality and how it also has some constraints. Firstly, Microsoft Project only has 11 baseline repositories, the default baseline plus baseline 1 through to baseline 10. Secondly, it's not possible to secure the baseline data within the Microsoft Project file, so it's vulnerable to accidental or unauthorized changes by anyone who has edit permissions on the file. And finally, when making baseline changes, Microsoft Project doesn't apply schedule logic to the baseline, which means that you can't distinguish between changes as a result of authorized changes and discrepancies as a result of variances. In this video, we'll look at how we can work around these constraints using the Eversight add-on to extend the native baseline functionality. Using Eversight for Microsoft Project allows you to separate out the baseline from the working schedule in separate files. So rather than having a single schedule, you have two schedules, and we're going to call them the working schedule and the baseline schedule. And this is where you get the first benefit. We can now put the baseline schedule in a secure folder. We can give everyone read-only access to the baseline, but we can ensure that changes can only be made by authorized users. So perhaps you've got someone looking after project assurance or PMO, and they'll be authorizing and executing the baseline changes, but the project manager who's running the project on a day-to-day basis will maintain the working schedule. Once you've got the separate file set up as your baseline, Eversight's baseline import functionality allows you to take a copy of the master baseline data from this external file and then copy it into the working schedule. This means you can still use the tracking Gantt and the inbuilt earn value functionality to see how the project is performing, but the master baseline data is stored in a secure location and can't be subjected to unauthorized or accidental changes. The second benefit this gives us is that we are no longer limited to having just 11 baselines. We can store as many versions of the baseline as we like in our secure folder, and at any time we can import these into the working schedule, so we can easily compare the working schedule to any baseline version we choose. So in this example, I've got my schedule ready to be baselined. An important point to note is that you must define a field as the foreign key to link the tasks in the working schedule and the baseline schedule. This is configured from the ribbon menu by selecting Eversight Options, and in this example I've chosen the text 14 field, which I've renamed as booking code because that's how we refer to this field internally. You could also choose to use another built-in field, such as the unique ID, WBS number, or even the task name as the foreign key. I check that all the tasks in my schedule have got a value in the text 14 field, and then to baseline the schedule I simply close down the working schedule and take a copy of the MPP file moving it into the secure folder. Fast forward a couple of months and I now want to compare the current working schedule to the baseline. To do this I simply select from the ribbon menu Eversight Import Baseline. This allows us to browse to the baseline file we created and import this into our working schedule. We have the same options to use any of the 11 repositories, and we can also choose what level of data we want to import. I'm not going to be looking at the timescale data for the baseline in this example, just the dates, so I'm going to bring in the standard data for both tasks and assignments. I click Import and we are presented with a progress bar and confirmation once the import is complete. Now when we switch to the tracking Gantt, we have the same values as if we had used the native baseline functionality. When we come to make a change to the baseline, we open up the secure folder, copy the baseline file and call it revision 1. Although if we had the schedule in a document management system which automated version control, then we wouldn't need to manually copy and rename the revision. So we open our baseline schedule, find the task which has been authorized for change, and then we extend the duration as per the approved request. This change then ripples through the schedule logic, affecting all the dependent tasks within the baseline. Having done this, we simply save and close the baseline. Back in the working schedule, we'll choose to import the baseline again, choosing the new revision. Leaving the options as they were before, we click Import and the baseline values are again copied from the master baseline file into the baseline fields of the working schedule. Now, looking at the tracking Gantt, we can see that the change has been implemented not only on the task we extended, but also on all the tasks dependent on it. So we now have a baseline which complies with the schedule logic rules. Also, the 5-day positive variance we wanted to maintain is still in the schedule. So we factored in the change to the duration, but we are still maintaining the positive variance, showing that we're ahead of schedule. So to recap, we've now demonstrated the key benefits of using Eversight with Microsoft Project to maintain your baseline. Eversight allows you to keep a record of all baseline revisions. You're not just limited to 11 that Microsoft Project natively stores. Eversight also allows the master baseline data to be secured, preventing unauthorized or accidental changes. And Eversight also allows changes to be made while maintaining variances in the schedule. Thanks for watching, and feel free to ask any questions in the comments or contact us directly via our website. Also, if you'd like to see more on project management with Microsoft Project, please subscribe to our channel for other videos as we release them.